Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Recon, and I'll be your host for today's video, and today's video is going to be over the new girl Vivian. Vivian is going to be a ghost and a priestess. And before I continue, I would just like to say, please subscribe to the channel and share my channel to help anybody else that needs help in the game, because I love to help people. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. So, with Vivian, we're going to go over her first. We're going to go from left to right. We're going to start with her active. So her active is going to deal 300% of attack damage to 2 random enemies, has a 75% chance to remove 1 buff from target enemy, and the Moonlight Shadow activates and it's for 3 rounds. So this is nice that it can remove a buff from an enemy girl, which can be beneficial, whether it be attack or a healing buff, something like that. It's great. Or a speed buff too. That can be exponential in that. But it's 75% chance, so it's not guaranteed, but hey, that's still a very good chance. Now, with the Moonlight Shadow. When her allies are hit by active skill or basic attack, that does not mean any sorts of passives or DOT. It's literally just the active and the basic. There's a 70% chance to remove 2 debuffs from the ally. This effect can be triggered 4 times per round. At the end of the round, an ally with the lowest HP will be healed 25% of maximum HP. Effect discontinues if Vivian is dead. So, removing 2 debuffs at one time is very, very good. That's great. I mean, there's only 70% chance to have it, but that's still good chances. And it's 4 times in 1 round per round, and it goes for three rounds. So if it triggered every time on the girl, that's a chance of removing 12 debuffs in 3 rounds. And that's, of course, if you get that lucky for that to happen, but that's still great. That's more than 12. I just realized that. It's 24. Technically, it's 2 debuffs. My bad. All right, moving on. Passive. Star Murmurs. HP increases by 25%. Control mini increases by 30. Speed increases by 30. Healing received increases by 30. Now, all of them are really good. The one that they really take away from this is the heal part, because doesn't have much damage reduction or anything. So being able to heal extra when she gets healed can help her stay alive longer. She does have a decent amount of health, but if you don't have damage reduction right now, you kind of die really quickly. So having the ability to boost back up your health, boosting your heals, can help you survive longer as well. Divination. This is another passive. At the end of the round, there's a 70% chance to reduce 35 energy of 2 enemies and 70% chance to reduce the speed by 4 rounds per 2 rounds. Both of these are very great. They're awesome. Reducing speed is a little bit more important, but reducing energy is just as important, because the end of that first round, you do it, and it goes to the end of the second round, and they have their actives. You can maybe get rid of 2 girls' actives. Hey, that's great. Or you could reduce the speed of the ones that have actives, and then you get to go first before theirs, and you could hit them pretty hard before they hit you. So, either way, both of these actually working together like that can be very, very beneficial and good. Alright. Last one we got Starlink. This is a passive. It releases a galaxy mark on 1 random enemy. So, the galaxy mark will do... When Vivian takes damage, the enemy tagged with Galaxy Mark will receive 75% of the damage. When she's tagged with a debuff, there's a 35% chance that the enemy tagged with the Galaxy Mark will receive the same effect. Once the enemy tagged with the Galaxy Mark is defeated, a new target will be marked at the start of the next round. So just remember, whenever that Galaxy Mark dies in 1 round, you have to wait to the full next round before another Galaxy Mark will appear on another girl. This doesn't do as much damage as you would think. Vivian's damage isn't that great, but it's still decent enough to where that if it gets on a certain girl, let's say like a Neff or a Kratos it hits, or maybe even a Yona, you get that mark on there, and Vivian's just kind of taking a good amount of the damage, a blend of the damage, and you just don't want her to, kind of honestly, but if she starts doing it, you know that damage is going to go to that girl with that mark, and if you get it on the right girl that you want it on, that helps out a lot with that mark. Alright, let's get into the gears of Vivian. So I was playing around with just a straight class set and then the split gear. The split gear is going to give more health, and honestly, the attack of Vivian doesn't really matter. It's kind of like Psychic. She's just mostly debuffing and just debuffs and removing buffs from other girls and removing buffs off of yours and allies. Sorry, yours and enemies. So having her survive longer is going to do better. You're going to want to just do speed right off of her. So speed crystal is the only thing you're going to want. Same thing with Psychic. She's just a support girl. So make her as fast as possible, and then have an energy antique, whether it be the Demon Mirror, the Fate Guide, Fate Crystal, anything that gives energy, you just want to put it on there. Now, Fate Crystal is obviously going to be the best one. If you don't have it, it's understandable. just use something with energy. That way on the first turn she can get off her active. That way she can start removing debuffs or removing buffs on girls, stuff like that. It helps out in the long run. All right, we're going to go to do some leave it break. So we're going to same premise. We're trying to make her as fast as possible. So we're just going to do a 3-1-3-3-2. So we're going to boost her speed as much as possible. We're going to have the deep. I understand she removes debuffs, but removing a debuff on herself would be beneficial. At the same time, you could try to do this one as well. You could test it out. I've been doing this. It's been working really great, but Holy Blessing can do a similar thing as long as you get her active off and she doesn't get stunned. Then you can potentially remove debuffs. And then we're going to do speed again. And then, of course, the last thing that's the most important thing, getting to LB5, is those shields for the 4 marks. Very important to have it on her. Nothing else. That's literally all you're going to do. Okay. With all that, I'm going to show a couple fights of her. We have to keep in mind, though, when these fights are going on, you have to pay attention when her active goes off. If the enemy girls don't have any buffs on them, obviously you're not going to see the removal of a buff. If they do have buffs, pay attention very carefully to which ones get removed. Sometimes it's hard to see which ones because you're trying to remember if there's a lot on the field. So just kind of, if you have to, pause the video and look at and see if you can find it or slow it down to where that you can try and see one of these buffs being removed. Also on the debuffs, remember that it doesn't work all the time. So sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't. It's a small chance it doesn't. So you just have to be aware of that too. And think, oh, she's not working. It's not removing a debuff. There's still a 25% chance you can't remove it. All right, so let's get into some fights. We'll start off with this one. Remember, Vivian has got her crystal's not maxed, but she's got as fast as speed I can have on her right now, and a fake crystal for energy. So she's gonna go off. Obviously, she's gonna get hit by the Neff mark right here. That's understandable and fine, but it's still good to have this right here. So obviously, no one's got. See, she hit the E-Saint, but it didn't remove the buff. So it happens. See, we didn't get that nice little 70% chance. So we're going to have to wait till the next round to see if we get anything. All right, wait, see if we can get a... You saw the removal on the Psychic right there? I removed the heal debuff. It's gone. Same with the... well, it's there now, but they had been removed. See if we get to remove any of this. See, I removed the heal buff on the Kratos, if you're paying attention. That is gone. Also, the heal buff on the Neff is gone as well. So it did remove that time. You just got to pay really good attention. They are removing buffs. It's just the percentage chance if you get it or not. So we got to pay attention to see which one she hits. See right there on the Neff right here that's kind of obscured by the words. It got removed on the heal debuff right there as well. So if you really were paying a little bit of attention, you just have to pay attention. It's kind of hard to see sometimes. So she normally doesn't do this much damage. The longer the fight goes, she can do more. I had one fight. It's random one-off. Don't think you're going to get this all the time. I had her up to 24 million damage on her at one point. That was very rare, but you have a potential of it. It just happens. Usually it's between 2 million to 8 million damage the longer the fights go, but that's not the big takeaway. Heals, her heals are okay. They're not as good as Raph's. Psychic does a little bit better on heals, but the main thing why Psychic is doing a lot more heals though also is because Vivian is debuffing the or removing the debuffs on your girls. So having a Vivian with a Psychic actually pairs very well because Psychic can start doing more heals because the heal debuff is being removed from your girls, or has a greater chance of being removed essentially. So they work really well together, believe it or not. I've had great success with Psychic and Vivian on the same team. So if you have both, you can use them together. They can do a decent amount of heals to help your girl stay alive. Of course, if you have a Raph, she's still the best healer in the game. So if you want to do heals, just do that. You can do a Raph with a Vivian. Try and get rid of those marks. That way your Raphael just starts healing a lot because those debuffs on heals really affects Raph's heals, especially if you start getting 6 on one girl. That's really, really rough for the girl to heal. All right, I got one more fight to show you. See if we can see any removals of debuffs and buffs. Remember, we're not going first with Vivian, but we're moving as fast as we can with the speed on her. And she'll be if she had her crystal maxed out, she would be faster than Rogue. So she would go before the Rogue. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry for that. If she removed anything, but we can still see if she gets debuffs removed. So the Psychics and the Rogues are just the Psychic's gone, looks like, for the debuff. So they're not going to attack because we had him stunned. Can we remove one? Can we get something? Hey, we got at the bottom one. Remove that heal buff. Can we remove something? Hey, the Rogue. Oh, 3 girls lost. 4. If you saw that right at the end, if you want to pause it and go back, 4 of those girls actually got their debuffs removed for the heals. So that was great. So that's a prime example of everything working in your favor. 6 million again, and our heals looked like 4 million. See how Psychic's doing 4 million? Usually before Vivian, when I was using Psychic, I get about 1 to 2 million heals with her. With Vivian, Psychic is doing a lot better on heals. So, like I said earlier, they pair very well together. Even a Raph and Vivian is going to pair really well. So, if you want the stuns with the heals, put a Vivian in there. If you can get her, to work together. All right, some little side notes here, ladies and gentlemen. Guild Boss 61, actually, Vivian will remove the buffs on the Guild Boss, and it works actually very well. So if you have a Vivian and you're on Guild Boss 61, you can use it for that, and it works very well. Sanctuary, it works okay. We did a little bit of that. I need more testing on it, but it seemed to work, but not as good as it does in Guild Boss 61. Vivian is very good in that boss fight. I haven't done her in practical works yet. Probably not the best choice. Probably just better off using Raph for that. So, and I haven't used her in Security Squad because it was already over and done with, so I don't have a thing on that. But it could possibly work as well. That's all I got for you today. If you have any questions or comments about Vivian, you can comment below, or you can DM in my Discord. Either way, links will be in the description for the Discord and my Twitch when I do live streams. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for showing up for this video. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support, and then I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day, everyone.